There we go. How's it going, guys? Yeah, sorry about that. I had to plug in my headphones there. I forgot to plug them in, but hope everyone's having a great night. Um, we're going to be talking about the Halloween franchise, of course. So, yeah. Yeah, I made a mistake by not um, putting my headphones in there or plugging them in. But yeah, we're going to talk about obviously the Halloween franchise tonight. I was thinking about because I thought I was gonna go out of town today, but obviously didn't. I was gonna reschedule the stream, but I decided not to because I was gonna go out of town today, but I don't have to go out of town today, so I didn't have to like reschedule or anything. So yeah, we are gonna be talking about the Halloween franchise, of course. Um, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Just wait for some people to pop in here. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about obviously the Halloween franchise. So obviously we don't know when we're gonna get another Halloween film. Obviously, as you guys know, we probably will have to wait at least probably like 10 years, probably 10 to 5 years. But a lot of people say probably five. I think 5 years sounds more realistic as of right now. Um, but yeah, a lot of people don't really know like when we're gonna get another one. But I'm thinking about 5, 10 years. And I think, and my prediction is that it's gonna be a sequel to Halloween 4, which that's what people have been wanting, I guess, because Halloween 4 is to me one of the best Halloween films. I think it is, anyways. So I think that they're gonna probably do a sequel, end up doing a sequel to Halloween 4, potentially. So that's what I'm thinking, anyways. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. There's rumors about Danielle Harris possibly coming back, which I don't know if you guys ever heard those rumors, but I think that's very, very possible if they do a sequel to Halloween 4. Um, you can't just not have her in it if you do a sequel to Halloween 4. So I think we're probably gonna have to wait probably like 5 years, as I was saying, maybe 5 to 10 years. Um, because after Rob Zombie's Halloween, of course, I think it took like 10 years for another Halloween film to come out. So, um, yeah, because Halloween 2018 came out. So Rob Zombie's Halloween came out in 2009, I believe, part two, anyways. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So let me see. 9 years. So I mean, 10 years. I mean, it was pretty. That's pretty close, but it's been 9 years. Um, but close to 10 years. So yeah, it took them about 9 years to make another one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went with that. If they decided to, do something like that, and they decide to wait, or they decide to wait, I guess, 10 years or maybe even five. It could be a lot sooner, but there's a lot of, I guess, kind of a lot of people, that I know, a lot of people this in general are just like kind of upset that they're gonna make another one. I guess because they feel like he died, the way he died in Halloween Ends. Of course, they don't feel like they don't feel like he should come back, which I understand, but at the same time, these movies make a lot of money, and it's a big franchise, so there's no way that they're just going to quit making them. And another thing too is that these movies make a lot of money too, like, and that's another thing that people don't really quite get either. Like these movies make so much money. Like, and another thing too is that when they do make another one, it's not going to be the same timeline. They're going to start a whole new timeline. So it's not like they're going to follow it up from Halloween Ends or anything. They're basically going to like start over, like starting over again. So if that makes sense. So I personally don't have a problem with that. I personally don't have a problem with that because honestly, if they decide to make, if they start a whole new timeline, I don't have a problem with that. I would only have a problem if they follow it up from Halloween Ends. But I don't have a problem with them starting a whole new timeline because it's basically that's what I think that's better than doing a follow up. You know what I mean? Because you're basically starting over again, and you're not doing the same old, like, you're not doing a follow up, especially after the way he died in Halloween Ends. Like, you know, you're not gonna. I wouldn't like them doing a follow up if, you know, it'd be better for them to start a whole new timeline, and that's what I think they're gonna do. Um, I think they're gonna start a whole new timeline and basically start over again. But we'll have to see what happens. We don't have any other news about, like, we don't know anything about it. We haven't heard anything in terms of like who's gonna, like, we haven't heard anything about it yet, like in terms of like when we're gonna get it, of course. And we probably won't hear anything for a while. Um, but I will tell you that I am happy. I am happy that Jason Blum is gone. I'm happy about that, and I hate to say that. I hate to say that I'm happy about that. You know, but I felt like Jason Blum ruined and Blumhouse in general. I think they ruined, the trilogy. They've ruined it. Obviously, Halloween Ends was just like rush, as I was saying. Uh, Halloween Kills was a little better, but still had a lot of problems. So out of the three films, Halloween 2018 is probably the best. Like out of the three films from Blumhouse, I think 2018 is hands down like the best, like better than those two films. Um, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. If they didn't like rush it, I don't think it would have been as bad as it was. Personally, I think it would have been a lot better, but they rushed it. That's the issue, you know. And also, and also, that Corey character, he had no business being in that film, like, in my opinion, because they ba- they basically didn't do like a build up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I don't know. I'm just kind of going on a rant. That's why. But they didn't do they didn't do like a build up or anything. Like, so Corey Cunningham was just a character basically just thrown into the film. You know what I mean? Now, if they would have did something to where they had like a build up in Halloween 2018, you know, I wouldn't have had a problem with that because they would have had a build up towards that, towards the Corey Cunningham character. But I mean, he wasn't even in Halloween 2018, nor he wasn't in Kills either. So I mean, that's why I have a problem with it. And another reason too is that, again, Michael, he had a partner, which is something that I just don't agree with. Like, Michael, again, doesn't need a partner, in my opinion. Like, he always has done the killings on his own. So that's basically why Halloween Ends did so bad, was because of that. Like, that's why it did so bad. Like, that's why it was, in my eyes, the worst Halloween film. Well, I would probably call Halloween 3 probably the worst, because Michael wasn't in it. Like, but I don't know which one I would choose. Like, because Halloween Ends had Michael in it, but Halloween 3, didn't have Michael in it. So I think I would have to probably go with Halloween Ends. I think Halloween Ends is a little better than Halloween 3 because at least you get to see Michael in the film. Uh, Even though, yeah, Michael had a partner, I get that, but at least you get to see him in the film. So I think that's all that really counts. So if I had to choose like which one is the worst, well, it's obviously Halloween 3. Like, I think Halloween 3 is the worst. Just because, the character wasn't in the film. So if the character is not in the film again, why does it even matter? What's the point? So that's just my personal opinion. like Halloween 3 was hands down, I think, the worst personally in the franchise based off of that. Like Michael wasn't in it. So, and that kind of, hurt it a lot. Like, because obviously they named, they decided to name it Halloween, and everyone at that time was probably expecting Michael to be in the film. So, but then obviously he wasn't in the film, so that that's why it hurt. That's why it really really hurt a lot, because why it did so bad was because they named it Halloween. If they would have named it something else, something different, then I would not have I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the reason why I have a problem with it is because they named it Halloween. Like, that's my only issue. Like, if they would have named it anything else, let's say just like Season of the Witch, well, I wouldn't have had a problem with that at all. Like, or even, yeah, Season of the Witch. That's like, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But they named it Halloween, and when you name it Halloween, everyone expects to see the character in the film, and so that's kind of like the main issue, I guess, that I have with why I think it's the worst in the franchise. Like, there's no debate, in my opinion. Like, I mean, if there's a lot of people out there that, of course, they like it, which, of course, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the worst film. I'm not going to sit here and say that, well, I think it's the worst Halloween film, but I'm not going to sit here and bash other people's, like, opinion, Like, if you like it, hey, I'm glad that you liked it. But me, I just can't really, I can't watch it like within within like 2 seconds of the film, even like within like 2 minutes of the film. Like, I can't like, I have to turn it off. That's that bad to me. Like, that's personally just my opinion, though. So basically, when I do like a marathon or something, a Halloween marathon, well, sometimes I had to skip that film because it's that boring. Like, Michael's not even like in it. Like, I'm like maybe like 5 minutes into the film, right? And I have to change it. Like, I'm like, man, screw this movie. I'm not. I have to watch Halloween 4 now. Like, I have to skip this film. That's the way I feel, especially when I do a marathon. Like, I have to skip it. Like, there's no way I can't watch it within like 5 minutes. As I was saying, that's how bad I think it is. And another annoying part is obviously the Shamrock commercial, which that's probably the most annoying part. Like, absolutely can't stand that song. That's all you hear in the whole film is that song, and Michael's not even in the film. Like, that's probably the most annoying part, in my opinion. The commercial, the Shamrock series, or the Shamrock commercial. I said Shamrock series. That song is just like plays over and over and over. Like, so annoying. Like, so annoying. And no Michael. Like, wow. It's crazy. So yeah, I think that that's it's not even really debatable at that point. You know, there's a lot of people, of course, that like it, and hey, you know, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you like it. But personally, me, I can't watch it within like 5 minutes. Like, because what are you really gaining out of it? You know, you're not really gaining anything. You're not really getting anything special. You're only getting like these humans, like these other humans, like killing people, which is not the character, you know. So I look at it as, you know, if the character's not in it, that doesn't really matter, you know. There's really no point, especially when you name it Halloween. Like that's my biggest issue. So yeah, it's not really debatable to me. I think that's hands down the worst in the franchise. Like there's just really no debate, in my opinion. No debate at all. You know? I mean, what do you really truly gain? Again, out of it, you know, you don't gain anything. You don't see the character, you only see you only hear the Shamrock commercial, that's it. So yeah, I think it's the worst. I know there's gonna be a lot of people out there that are gonna, you know, disagree with me on that, but hey, that's just my personal opinion, you know. It's not it's really not a gift it's not a good film to me. Like, and I honestly think it's worse than Halloween Ends. And yes, Halloween Ends is like right behind it in terms of like being like one of the worst. Um Shoot, at that point I'd rather watch the Rob Zombie films over, I mean, definitely over, you know, Halloween 3 and over, you know, Halloween Ends. Like, because at least, you know, Michael didn't have a partner and at least the character was in the film. So even though, like you guys already know, I don't really like the Rob Zombie films like that. But I will say that at least they're better than Halloween 3 and Halloween Ends. Like, in terms of like, you get to see obviously Michael, you know, do the killings and all that, which So I would choose those films over Halloween 3 any day. Like, because, and even though, like I was saying, it's not a perfect film, and I don't like Dr. Loomis in that film. I don't like Laurie Strode in that film. But I do like the fact that they showed Michael as a little kid. So that's one thing that I could say that I enjoyed. And obviously, the kills, okay, the kills I think were pretty good. The kills I think were pretty good. But the only issue is that the only issue that I had with it was just the fact that they were rehashing 1978. Um, but other than that, I'm not. I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was hands down like the worst one out of the Rob Zombie films. Like, but do I think it's better than Halloween Ends? Yeah, I would probably put that. I'd probably put it above Halloween Ends. Even Halloween 3, but it's still kind of low in my like rankings. If I had to rank Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 right now, I will say that okay, like I like the kills and all that. I liked all that, but they went too far as to making, like I said, uh, Dr. Loomis a dickhead. They made him look too much like a dickhead in that film, which again, he was never like that in the older films. You could go back and watch the older films. He was never like that. He was never a dickhead. But all of a sudden, Rob Zombie makes him a dickhead. Like, like, and then obviously Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode, he made her like a drug addict when Laurie Strode never did drugs in the older films. Maybe she was in a nursing home, and maybe she did have PTSD, or maybe she did have PTSD. So I mean, like those are the things. Yeah, maybe she was in a nursing home, and maybe she did have post traumatic stress or whatever, PTSD. But at the same time, she wasn't a drug addict. Like I know that for a fact. Like, and Rob Zombie did. He went. I felt like he went overboard with that. Like I felt like he went overboard with that part of Laurie Strode. Like he made her, like I was saying, a drug addict when she was never a drug addict ever. If you go watch the older films, yeah, she was in a nursing home. Yeah, she had PTSD, but she never once did drugs. That's all I could say. And that's the thing that I think that or where that Rob Zombie, like he went too far with that. Like I felt like he made that his film like too dark. Which, okay, at the same time, yeah, John Carpenter gave you permission to do whatever you wanted. He gave you permission, but you don't disrespect Donald Pleasance like that, or you don't disrespect Dr. Loomis like that, and decide to make him a dickhead. Like, you know what I mean? And the actor, don't even get me started about him, bro. I didn't even like the actor personally. He was kind of like a dickhead as well. Like he was, but Dr. Loomis, yeah, Dr. Loomis was never a dickhead, in my opinion. Never. I swear, like he was never a dickhead. Um, he never wrote books about Michael. None of that. So Rob Zombie went overboard with that. I think. You know, he went overboard with that. But I will say that the first Rob Zombie's Halloween is better than the second one, but still not perfect. You know what I mean? And hey, I appreciate the kills, as I was saying. I do appreciate the kills. You know, the kills were really good and they're really entertaining. But why does that matter if you're not going to have a good, like, why does that matter if you're just going to make Dr. Loomis a dickhead and make Lord Strode a drug addict? You know, I mean, yeah, it's all cool and all. It's cool and all, but if you don't have a good storyline, it doesn't really matter as much, you know. And I feel like they were just copying. I felt like they were just copying 1978. You know, um, and then of course you got people that are going to compare it. You know, they're going to compare it to, oh, which scene's better? Is it going to be 1978 or is it going to be Rob Zombie's film? So you got people that are basically like comparing the two, say like asking like which one they like. They're basically picking which one they like the most, and it's just like you really, really think that Rob Zombie's version is better? Like no, like the original is always going to be the better one, in my opinion. Um, Nothing's ever going to be better than the original, in my like. But of course, you got people out there picking which one they like the most, and they're always going to go with obviously Rob Zombie is just because the new technology that we have, you know, because it was more like I guess graphic in a way, better technology, you know, whatnot, better cameras, and you know, so of course they're going to go with Rob Zombie's Halloween in a lot of ways because of that. But I can't do that. I can't pick Rob Zombie's Halloween because of that. Like it's really not fair because back in the day they didn't have that kind of technology, you know, like they do now. So how's it going, Nanetti's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare? How you doing? Thank you for joining me. We're obviously talking about the Halloween franchise. I like both Rob Zombie and John Carpenter Halloween, but I agree with you. The original will always be the best. Yeah, and I respect everyone's opinion, you know? Like, if you liked it, hey, I'm happy that you enjoyed it. You know, I'm happy that you enjoyed it. That's all I gotta say. Even though I didn't really like it as much, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I did not like three of the three new chapters. Are you talking about 2018 kills and ends? Because I personally, I thought 2018 was the best out of the three. Um, kills, is just like kills was I think a little better than ends, but still bad. If you know what I mean. But ends was hands down like the worst like trilogy that I've ever watched. I'm doing okay. How are you? I'm doing good. Doing good. Just wanted to talk about the Halloween franchise, and yeah, I'm doing all right. Can't complain. But yeah, there's a lot of I think the Halloween franchise as a whole is just I think it's a pretty good franchise, Like even though yeah, there's some movies that I don't like, there is obviously so the ones that I don't like mainly are Halloween 3, um so Halloween 3, um Halloween Kills and Ends. Oh yeah, and the Rob Zombies Halloweens. So that's really only how many films is that? 5 Halloween films that I don't like. Really? Like which I think that's the most that I don't like. Because with the Friday the 13th franchise, I only hated like one. Like and I like the rest. But yeah, I hate that's crazy. I hate 5 Halloween films. Or I wouldn't say hate, but ones that I don't really like care for, ones that I didn't find enjoyable, that I didn't find it, So 5 of them that I don't like. So obviously Halloween 3, um, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, of course, and then Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. So that is, yeah, that's about. Hold up. So let me do a recount again. So Halloween 3, right? Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. Yeah, that's 5. So there's 5 movies that I don't like in the like ones that I don't really care for, that I didn't really find to be enjoyable. Uh, yes, I'm talking about 2018 kills and ends. They're okay, but I didn't like Laurie Strode and her daughter and granddaughter characters in the movies. They they focus too much on that, and that's why I don't like it. Yeah, and also, but I thought 20. I personally like 2018 a lot more than I did Kills and Ends, though. That's personally me. But I understand what you mean. I understand what you're saying. Like, it was definitely kind of annoying, you know. But I personally like 2018 more than Kills and Ends. I thought it was better. There's a better film. But that's personally me. But yeah, I thought Ends was definitely like the worst out of the whole like the worst trilogy that I've ever watched. And the reason why is because again, Corey Cunningham, that character wasn't. He was just thrown into the film like for no reason. And Michael had a partner basically, which I didn't agree with. Like that scene where they're basically fighting each other. Come on, that was cheesy, and that's the reason why it gets an F for me for failure because of that. Because Michael doesn't need a partner, in my opinion. He's always done the killing on his own, so that's why I think it's the worst. And don't get me wrong, the actor who played Corey Cunningham, he did a good job, but I just didn't like the Corey Cunningham character. That's all. I don't like Halloween 3. Yeah, I don't either. It's just like I was saying, the that Shamrock commercial is the most annoying part about that film. Like because you just hear it over and over and over again. Like that's all you really hear the whole film. And I can't take that like after 5 minutes. Like I just can't watch that film within like. Yeah, you have five you didn't like. Yeah, which that's not really that's quite a bit, but that then again it's not like crazy. I mean it's only five. Then I have one. So I have like eight of them. So which is pretty good. You said that you can't see what people would like Rob Zombie's Halloween, but if you were born closer to the time that movie was made, or after a lot of the people that were born around the time too. Yeah, yeah, I understand that, but and again, I'm glad that people enjoyed it and all, but I just don't really think it was a good like. I don't like the fact they were rehashed in 1978. That's the only problem, And I'm not gonna sit here and bash anyone that likes it, of course. You know what I mean? Because everyone likes what they like, but I personally can't. Now I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but there has been people that has said that Rob Zombie is better than John Carpenter. There's people out there that have said that, um, and to me, that alone is just straight ignorance. I mean, everybody has a right to have their own opinion about whatever, but I don't agree with it. Like, because John Carpenter is the one that originated, the Halloween films. So I can't sit here and put Rob Zombie in front of John Carpenter, like other people were trying to say. Like, and the only reason why they really say that is because of the graphic kills. That's the only reason. Like, not like John Carpenter's Halloween movie because it's too slow for them, and that's a big reason why these movies keep getting made over and over again. Yeah, yep, I agree. And these movies make a lot of money too. It's a big franchise, so they're gonna keep continuing to make films. And look, I respect everyone's opinion. I do enjoy the kills, and I can see why they enjoy it that much is because obviously the kills I think are pretty good in the Rob Zombie films, and so I could kind of understand like why people would like them. I like Corey Cunningham, but there's so many reasons that that story is bad. For one thing, it would have done better if they could have fled out of his story into a whole 2 to 3 movies instead of just one. That's what I'm saying. That I personally didn't like the Corey Cunningham character, but I didn't like that. Like I didn't hate the actor. I thought the actor did a good job. Um, but the only problem with the Corey Cunningham character is that he just got thrown into the film. You know, no, like basically no build up or anything, which is basically like the issue that I have, well, the main issue, anyways. Um, if they would have done that, if they would have did like a build up and like I said, Halloween 2018, if they would have just showed him or something like that, like a build, like had a build up. Well, I would have been, I would have liked him a lot more. But I personally never really cared. I didn't like him. No, I didn't hate the actor. I thought the actor did a good job, but and they put it in an already storyline to another movie. I just think it should have been a separate movie, all to its own and separate from Halloween. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I totally agree with that. I just didn't like the fact that they didn't have a build up. That I think that was the real like issue. That's just the main issue. But yeah, the only problem that and I was just explaining when I started the live stream, I was kind of explaining like how basically how basically they're gonna there's people out there that are upset in a way that Michael's gonna come back, but at the same time, these movies make a lot of money. So at the end of the day, and plus they're going to be following a whole new timeline, and they're not going to just quit making them. That's the thing, because obviously it's a famous franchise, and you know makes a lot of money. So there's never going to be a day when they just quit making them. Like I could see one day there being like them making like a TV series potentially, like in the future. I don't know like when, but maybe after this next Halloween film, somewhere somewhere down the line, and they'll just keep on like I guess continuing like because again this franchise makes a lot of money. It's a famous franchise, and they're just not gonna quit making them. Even though yeah, I understand that he got put in uh that shredding machine or whatever, and he got basically got killed. You know, thought he should have died there, but I thought so too. But at the same time, they follow who knew they if they do like basically start over, I don't have a problem. I like slow burns, but people nowadays don't have the patience to watch a movie that's a slow burn. If you haven't noticed, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I agree with that. But okay, so like the most underrated Halloween film, in my opinion, and the whole entire franchise, and this is just my opinion. Like nobody has to agree with it or anything, but my opinion. This is just my opinion, of course. And I don't know if you're gonna agree, but I honestly think that Halloween Resurrection is underrated. And I know people are gonna call me crazy for thinking that, but I think that's probably the most underrated Halloween film in the franchise. Like, I just liked everything. I liked how they're basically like going to Michael's house or whatever. I like that. You know, it was something new. Um, it was overall just a creative like film. I thought, and maybe a lot of people didn't really like that part. Maybe they thought it was kind of like maybe they thought it didn't make sense, which I understand. But personally, I think it was a good. I think it was a definitely underrated film. Um, and that's personally me. You know, a lot of people have a problem with Resurrection probably because they killed Laurie Strode off, in the opening scene or whatever. So a lot of people had a problem with that. But aside from that, I think it's a good film. I think it's underrated. I think it gets too much hate personally. Um, and like I was saying, there's worse films out there. I mean, look at Halloween 3. Look at Halloween Ends. There's worse films out there, in my opinion. So, and Resurrection is definitely not one of them. I think it's underrated, the most underrated one in the whole franchise. Well, probably that one and probably Part 5, Halloween 5, and maybe even like Halloween 6. But yeah, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna agree with me, about Resurrection, but I definitely think it's the most one of the most underrated ones, if not the most. I just like the fact that they take a trip to Michael's house, and they basically like stay there and like record everything. I like that a lot. That's just personally my opinion, though. I definitely could see them making a TV series out of Halloween. They have done it to pretty much everything else. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they've done it to Scream. They've done it to obviously Child's Play, Candyman. You know, They're doing it with Friday the 13th, of course. So yeah, I definitely think it's a possibility. That's what they're doing nowadays. A lot of these horror franchises are turned into TV series. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a Leatherface one too, like a Texas Chainsaw. I mean, one of my favorite movies is The Stand, and pretty much everybody I know doesn't want to watch it because it's an 8-hour movie. Yeah, I understand. Some people don't really like 8-hour movies, but Halloween Resurrection Halloween Resurrection definitely is underrated. It's a very good movie, and a lot of people think that it's a horrible movie, but you won't hear me say that. You won't hear me saying that. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, and of course, there's going to be a lot of haters out there that are going to be crapping on this movie, and I don't think it deserves all the hate that it gets. I mean, there's just a lot of great moments in the film. I like Buster Rhymes, and I know it kind of sounds a little funny, but honestly liked him personally. I think it's a good film. It's underrated. The story is nice. Uh, I like the fact that they take a trip to Michael's house. That's the thing that I like. That's personally me though. Like a lot of people just like different things, but I'm glad that you, at least that me and you like it. Me and you think it's underrated because there's not really much of us. There's not really much people out there that think it's underrated. There's maybe a small portion that think it's underrated, but not a lot of people. I don't like found footage movies, but that is one of my few found footage movies. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like too. I liked how it was like a found footage movie as well. I really enjoyed that a lot because it was something different. I think a lot of people didn't like it because they killed off Laurie Strode, but I didn't feel that way. Yeah, exactly. That's literally the only reason. Like they didn't like it because they killed Laurie Strode in the opening scene. That's the only reason why I think people hate it. It's because of that. Like, which I didn't mind it. I personally didn't mind it. Yeah, and another reason why is because they also think that because they tried to kill Laurie Strode in Halloween 4, I believe it was, supposedly that she was going to die in a car accident. Well, they didn't like that idea, and then on top of that, having her return and then having them kill her off in the opening again like that, which I understand that, but at the same time, I didn't mind it. You know, I didn't mind that. That's personally just me. One of the reasons I don't like Halloween 5 was because they killed off Rachel. But other than that, that is a good movie. And as far as Halloween 6 goes, I like everything about it except for the fact that they add somebody playing Jamie that was not Daniel Harris. Yeah, that was probably the only issue that I had too. Other than that, I think it's a good film though. Um, but yeah, I do agree with you about Halloween 5. Like, I don't like the fact that they killed Rachel off, but I do like the film. Like, I think it's a good film, you know. And maybe okay, the mask. A lot of people didn't like the mask, too. Like the mask was probably like one of the biggest issues. You know, that's probably the other issue because it didn't look like Michael Myers at all. It just looked kind of like a witch. But that's kind of like my only issue. My only issues, anyways. Other than that, I think it was a good, good film. It's a lot of fun. Donald Pleasance always does a good job. Daniel Harris always does a good job. It's a good film. Yeah, and about Halloween 6, as you were saying, like, yeah, I didn't like the fact that they had, basically a look-alike, or another actor played Jamie, which that was probably the only issue that I had. They did it to Dracula. They did it to Psycho. They did it to Omen. I'm sure those are others, but I can't think of them right now. Are you talking about like talk about TV series or? Yeah, but other than that, I think yeah, like Halloween 5. That's really literally the only issue that I have was the mask and obviously Rachel's death. Those are the only issues. Other than that, it's a good film. I think it's a good film. The kills are enjoyable. You know, it's overall just an enjoyable film. And obviously, Halloween 4. That was definitely one of my favorite looks to Michael. Like, what's up, Jordan Talks Film? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. We're just talking about the Halloween franchise. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you back. But yeah, Halloween 2. Okay, Halloween 4 is probably like my favorite. Halloween 4 is definitely my favorite. Well, it's not better than 1978, but I do think I would say maybe number 3, maybe even number 2. I don't really know where I'd probably put it at number 3, but I might even put it in front of 2, honestly, because I just think it was better. But Yeah, bro, just been working. Oh, I, I understand that, man. That's yeah. Sometimes that could definitely, you know, wear you out for sure. If you've been watching Jake's live streams, you would see me in the chat. Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't been watching his streams as much, not lately, anyways. But, um, but yeah. So if I had to rank Halloween 4 right now, I would probably put Halloween 4 maybe above Halloween 2. So I'd probably put Halloween 4 like behind 1978 personally. I know a lot of people are going to call me crazy for doing that, but you know, yeah, the mask, yeah, it looked horrible for sure. It looked like a witch. So one Halloween, two Halloween 2018, three Halloween 4, four Halloween Kills, five Halloween 2. That's a good list. I dig it, man. I dig it. I think my ranking would probably be okay. Number one, Halloween. Number two, Halloween 4. Number three, Halloween 5. Or no, number three, Halloween 2. And then number 4, Halloween 5. And then number 5, I would probably do Halloween 6 or Halloween Resurrection. Then H2O. Then probably The Curse of Michael Myers. Um, that's basically my list there. I have Resurrection at number 5. Oh wait, so I have okay, so Halloween 4, Halloween 2, Halloween 5, and then Halloween Resurrection. So yeah, that's basically. I think that Resurrection's underrated. Like I think it gets too much hate. I'm talking about movies they made that are horror and they turn into TV show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew that's what you meant. That's what. Yeah, they are making a lot of horror films into TV shows now. Like Halloween 5 is so bad now that I've grown, but I still have nostalgia for it though. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I personally just like my only issue was the mask and obviously Rachel's death. That was the only thing. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I still do enjoy it. I think it's a classic. and always will be, you know. But that's personally just my opinion. My are they your list of favorites or movies you don't like? There, oh, you guys can Jordan there. In Eddie's Blood Red, Her Nightmare. What do you mean? You did top five. You're saying are your favorites or ones you don't like as much? Oh, those are my favorites. Oh, yeah, they're basically asking each other. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of people liked H2O as well, which I do too. But H2O, I don't think it's better than Resurrection personally. That's just my opinion, though. I like it, but I don't think it's as fun as Resurrection. And I know a lot of people are going to give me kind of like crap for that, but that's personally just my opinion. I just think Resurrection was just I don't know. I don't know why I enjoy it. It's just something different. I personally like the setting. Holy shit! I forgot about H2O. I'd put H2O at number five over Halloween 2. Yeah, I forgot about H2O as well. I don't even have H2O in my top five. But because I just enjoy Resurrection a little bit more, I guess. But I do like H2O. I think that's definitely an underrated film still. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of great. There's five in total that I don't like, of course. So the ones that I don't like are Halloween 3, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, and Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. Ends is on like my very, very last, personally. And you know what? I forgot to add 2018 to my list and my favorite list, like in my top favorite list. I forgot to add that. I forgot to add 2018. But all right, bro, I gotta go to bed, Broski. All right, man. Have a good night, and thank you for popping in. Oh yeah, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, that was a disaster. That was a dumpster fire. Like definitely worse than the very first one. Like so number one, Halloween 1978. Number two, Halloween 4. Number three, Halloween 5. Number four, H2O. Number five, Halloween Resurrection. Hey, I dig it. I dig it. That's my list. My list is similar to yours, except for I have obviously number one, Halloween 1978. Number two, Halloween 4. Number three, Halloween 2. And then number four, Halloween 5. And then number five, Halloween Resurrection. So it's kind of similar to yours. So I had to put Halloween H2O where I did, or yeah, where I did because it was the first horror movie I got to see in theaters, and I was 16. Yeah, that's kind of crazy because the first Halloween film that I've ever watched was Resurrection. Because obviously I was not born when back in the 80s, so I was not around when those films like came out. I became a Halloween fan when I watched Halloween Resurrection and also H2O as well. It's basically how I became like I guess a Halloween fan was basically watching those films, and I just was just really got me into them. I really got into the Halloween films at that point. Yeah, I wasn't even born because that was so obviously Halloween Resurrection came out in 2000, I believe, and I was around 2 years old when that movie came out. So I was, yeah, I wasn't born yet. So I wasn't born around like the 80s or anything, or even like the early 90s. Sadly, but that's how I became, like I was saying, like a Halloween fan. I was born in the 80s, but I was too young to go see Halloween 2. I wish I was born in the 80s. I was too young to see Halloween 4. I bet. I wasn't born when Halloween 2 came out. Oh, so I'm guessing that you were born when. So I'm guessing you were born in 19. Let me guess, 1983 or 84. Wow, I got it right. Yeah, 1983. That's around, yeah, because Halloween 4 came out in 1984, I believe. So, dang, so you would have only been like 1 years old during that time. Yeah, I was born in 1998. 1988 or 1998, excuse me. I was born in 19 so July 26, 1998. So I wasn't even around when those movies came out, sadly. I wish I was born in the 80s, but sadly I wasn't. But yeah, there's a lot of a lot of classic films out there. Like there's obviously you got The Shining, you got Psycho, of course, which of course those films I wasn't born yet. You know, as I was saying, those are like in the early like 70s, even like the 60s. Yeah, you were close. Yeah, you were born here. Yep, 1998. And then I grew up obviously on Resurrection. I was only like 2 years old though when that came out. But that was the first Halloween film that I watched. And then obviously later in life I went back when I got older, I went back to watch the other ones, especially like the very first one. Um I had to because I hadn't watched them, and that's what really got me into the Halloween films. I meant to say that you were born. Yeah, you were born the year H2O came out. Yeah, H2O came out in 1998. Um, and yeah, that's the year I was born. I wasn't born when Psycho came out or The Shining. Yeah, those movies came out in like the early like 80s and like 70s. The Shining came out in 1979, I believe, or 81 or 1980. Uh, and then obviously Psycho was like in the 60s, around there. But yeah, the Halloween films, they're just so iconic. Um, and it's crazy. I watched like some documentaries about like how John Carpenter and how he created, the films, or how he created how he came up with the concept. And I think it was good. I think the movie was going to be called Babysitter, before it's going to be called Halloween. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was going to be called Babysitter. Um, Originally, but they thought, I guess, that Halloween sounded better. So, and I think it sounds a lot better too. The Shining was the 1979. Oh, I was close. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen Black Christmas? Um, I think I've watched Black Christmas maybe once, maybe even a couple times. Um, but I don't really remember, to be honest. I don't really remember like if I've ever watched. I think I maybe watched it maybe a couple times, but I don't really remember all that much. So I think so, but then again, I don't remember. And I do know that it is a like kind of similar to Insidious, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's about like Santa Claus, isn't it? Like, isn't that kind of like a possession film, but with like Santa Claus in it? I was a nerd when I was younger. I spent hours not sleeping when I was a teenager listening to the two commentary on the movie that I have on DVD, and one of them was Halloween, finding out everything that I could about movies that I love. Yeah, that's awesome. Again, I wish I was born during that time because those movies during that time were really, I mean, just watching them, they were just classics. And I wish I was born during that era. But I did. However, I did. Um, I did grow up in a pretty good era of movies. Because in the early 2000s, horror films were I think were still pretty good. I would say. Um, just movies in general were good in the early 2000s still. So it's not like they're not as good now as it used to be, like back in the day, like back in the early 2000s, like movies during that time even were definitely the best. They were still like popping. I figured you would like it because you like Halloween. Yeah, it really depends on what it's about. You know, it really depends on, I guess, like the style of film. If I'm really into that, I don't know if I'm into that or not. No, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. If you're interested in seeing it again to see if you've seen it, is on Tubi. Oh yeah, Tubi TV. Yes, I have that app. Which I was talking about that before. I have that app where basically you get like free movies. Um, yeah, there's a lot of free like horror films on there, which is nice that you don't have to pay money or anything like that for a lot of the films, anyways. No, Black Christmas is about somebody stalking people that are sorority girls in a house and calling them while at home. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I may have watched it before. I thought it was about Santa Claus. I'm crazy. But yeah, I think I may have saw it before, but I don't remember. I don't know if I would be a fan of it though, because I guess it really depends. It really depends on the style of film. A lot of people say it's a lot like Halloween. Why do people compare Black Christmas to Halloween? Well, I think they mostly compare it to Halloween probably because the stalking part. And they probably think that's a little bit like kind of similar. So that's probably why they compare it, because it's basically like a killer like stalking people, and that's what Michael Myers does. So that's probably the reason why they compare it. The movie that sure thinking about is Silent Night, uh, Deadly Night. Oh, I've never watched that film. Sorry, it wasn't a question. I know why they compare autocorrect spell check. Oh, oh, you're all right. Yeah, I always have that happen too. Like the autocorrect is crazy sometimes. Silent Night, Deadly Night is a movie about Santa Claus. Oh, is it so? Is it like a horror film then? Is it kind of like Black Christmas, or because this film's about Santa Claus for sure, right? Like you were saying, is it about a killer Santa Claus, or is it just? But yeah, the Halloween films, there's a lot of great films, in the franchise, but again, there's also bad ones. So, but any franchise, it's not gonna there's not gonna be anything that's perfect. Like every film's gonna have, I guess, some problems, but yeah, Santa Claus goes around killing people on Silent Night. Oh, okay, that's crazy. I definitely should give that a watch. Well, actually, this guy is dressed up like Santa Claus, and he kills these two adults in front of two brothers, and one of them remembered that, and then when he gets older, he goes around killing people in a Santa costume. Oh, that's pretty scary. There are six of these films. The longer they go, the more bizarre they get. But that's just the first movie. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out for sure. It sounds like a good film. But yeah, the Halloween films. That's probably a reason why you're saying that Black Christmas is compared to Halloween because the stalking part. Obviously, they're kind of like stalking they are stalking the sorority girls, like you were saying. So it's kind of similar to that. So I can see why they're it's compared in a lot of ways. Oh, how's it going, Stu Mocker? Thank you for popping in. There's a lot of movies that are holiday. There's a lot of movies that are holiday horror movies, but Black Christmas was first. Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, I've never watched either of them before, and I'm definitely gonna have to check them out for sure. Stu Mocker. Stu Mocker says hello, hello, Nanetti. But yeah, Halloween. The main question is how long is it going to take? How long do we have to wait for it to come out? You know, that's kind of like the main. That's the main question. Um, but I'm thinking that it's probably going to take. Again, I think it's going to take 10 years. I think it's going to take. I think it's going to take 10 to 5 years from now. That's what I'm thinking, anyways. But yeah, I definitely 100% think that there is going to be a TV series for sure. I mean, a lot of the horror franchises are becoming. a lot of these franchises are becoming TV series now. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a Nightmare on Elm Street TV series as well, which that's a possibility as well. Like that's definitely a possibility since that hasn't been. I think Halloween 3 is the worst. Oh, I agree with that. I think it's hands down the worst. Like nobody can really debate that really. Um, and of course, there's people out there that are gonna disagree, but honestly, I think that it is. It's just because Michael's not in it, and also they named it Halloween, so that ruins it for. That's the part that people don't like. Why I don't like it. It's because they named it Halloween. So yeah, I definitely agree on that. We definitely agree with theirs too. Yep, we do agree with them. It may not take that long, but I think it should take at least 5 years. 5 years. I think that there should be some kind of off before they do it again. Yeah, I think so as well. I think maybe 5 years at most. 10 years maybe like too like overboard. So I think 5 years sounds about right. But I think 10 years, I really wouldn't be surprised by that because you know I wouldn't be surprised by it. Um, but because we got to remember when Halloween 20, so when Rob Zombie's Halloween came out, one in part one and part two, when those came out, basically it took them like 10 years to even come out with another film. So, well, 9 years, but 10 years is still, I think, close. Um, Definitely sounds like close. Sounds like that may happen. But 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I mean, 5 years. I think 5 years is honestly that's definitely a possibility. But I could totally see them doing something like similar, like after Rob Zombie's Halloween. It took them. They waited 9 years, so I mean, there definitely could be like a possibility of that happening again. But I guess we'll see. I just remembered another one. I just remembered another one, and what I'm talking about is another horror movie that I was. That's a TV show. Oh yeah, Evil Dead. Yeah, Evil Dead, the TV show. Yup. They actually did a Nightmare on Elm Street TV show, but it was nothing about Nightmare on Elm Street. It was just Freddy Krueger doing different skits. Oh, oh, that's really not that fun. I think 10 years sounds more realistic. Yeah, I could definitely see something like that, you know? I think 10 years, I mean, you got to remember when Rob Zombie's Halloween, when he came out with his, his own films, took 10 years for them to make another film, after that. So they could be following that same time, they could be doing the same thing. But 5 years, I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if it was 5 years as well. Like, uh, personally, I mean, I'm kind of 50-50. I think it could be 10 years, but then again, 5 years, 10 years may be a little bit too long, you know? The show was called Freddy's Nightmare. Oh, yeah, but you said it was about it. Freddy was just doing skits. Well, that's just not fun. Yeah. So, I mean, they could be doing something like I was saying, 5 years. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of like stupid that that Freddy show that you're saying that they're only doing skits. Like that's really not that fun. Stu Mocker says, I agree. I'm 50-50 as well. Yeah. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen, you know? Um, really don't know how long that we're going to have to wait. Don't know, 10 years. I mean, 5 years 10 years may be a little bit too much. But then again, I could totally see that. So I'm kind of leaning 5 years, but then again, I'm kind of leaning not 10 years. Um, but 5 years may be the most, I guess, like realistic. Yeah, it was very horrible. I watched it because it was on Tubi. Do not recommend. I do not recommend. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the Nightmare franchise, like in general. So I do appreciate them, but I'm not a big fan of them. I've really never got into them for some reason. I'm not a fan, really. I'm not a fan, really, either. Yeah, it's just like, eh. It's an overall great franchise, but then again, it's like it's not really that as fun. I just don't really get into it as much, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't really find enjoyment in it. Personally, I'm not like not saying that I totally hate it, but I'm not a big fan of it. I'm telling you right now, people do not like it, and not for me, do not like it. It has to, it has to be bad. I mean, even Robert Englund thinks it's bad, and he did the thing. Yeah, it's very boring. I would call the TV show more of a drama, more a drama than anything else. Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, when all you have is like Freddy Krueger doing the skits, that's kind of weird. That's really not a real Nightmare on Elm Street film or TV series. It's not even Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, that's dumb. Not Nightmare at all. Yeah, it's really not. I think it's super dumb. I think it's dumb. A dumb show. There's a couple of episodes that shows you how they put Freddy Krueger on trial, but the rest of the show is about a court drama. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm sorry. Freddy Krueger on trial. What? Like, that's not even a. It's not even a real. It's not even a nightmare show, or it's not even Nightmare on Elm Street. Really, it's more of a. It's more of like a crime show slash drama. Like, seems like from the sounds of it. A couple of what where they were trying to kill him, and then they woke up. The children did, or did. Like I said, it's Freddy's nightmare. Freddy's nightmares, which makes no sense. Freddy does not have nightmares. What? That's crazy. Freddy has nightmares. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not a nightmare. That's that's definitely not a nightmare show. That's not nightmare at all. Like, that sounds trash. It does. Freddy. Freddy. Freddy has nightmares. What? Since when does Freddy have nightmares? I I know that's wow. That's ridiculous. I just can't help but laugh at that shit. Sorry for my language. I didn't mean to say that. Don't repeat what I said. I didn't mean to say that. Uh, Freddy Krueger is dead. He can't dream, so that's why I think it's stupid. It is. Wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna cuss ever again. I didn't mean to say that. I was just like kind of in the zone there. Uh I don't know why I was it is stupid. It sounds dumb. It sounds like the dumbest TV show that there It sounds like the dumbest TV show ever made. It definitely is. Dude. Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds garbage. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's just crazy. Wow. Freddy dreams. Since when does Freddy dream? That's what I'm asking. He's usually the one that's in other people's dreams. He's not usually the one that dreams. Wow. Yes, pretty much there is one other TV show that I think is more stupid. Like we won't get into that one. I'm sorry if I'm not laughing, but that's just kind of funny. How does Freddy dream when he's supposed to be dead? He's the one that's usually in other people's dreams, but it's the opposite. All of a sudden, since when does he dream? That's crazy, man. Since when does he have nightmares? It sounds it sounds dumb to me. Sounds like the dumbest TV show ever made. I don't mean to like laugh, but it's just man. That's just crazy. It's like making a TV show about Michael and like Laurie Strode's a killer or something, you know? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like laugh, but it's just it's like it's like making a Micah Myers show. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I can't. I've never heard of that before. That's crazy. Stu said the dumbest show ever made. It is. Wow. Yeah, the dumbest show ever made. Dumbest show I've ever heard of. Like in what world does Freddy Krueger have nightmares? He's usually the one that does the nightmares. He's the one that's in other people's nightmares. But instead he has nightmares. Wow. Oh my gosh. Some music. Oh wow, that is ridiculous. Honestly. Wow. I've never heard anything like it. Like I was saying, that's just like making it's like making Michael Myers um I don't know how to say it. It's like making Laurie Strode Michael Myers or something like that. In a way. I'm sorry for getting off Halloween. Oh no, you're good. I actually was the one that brung the nightmare thing up. Obviously because of I don't know. I just wanted to because that's obviously we haven't had a nightmare movie since 2010 and yeah. So you're good. I was the kind of the one that started the discussion. So. Oh, I know exactly. You can't make Laurie Strode from Michael Myers. Exactly, yeah. And vice versa. You can't make Freddy Krueger have nightmares. Right. At the end of the day, that's like making Laurie Strode Michael Myers out of nowhere. Or it's like making Sydney Ghostface for no reason. Like, you know what I mean? Final girls, you know? Yeah, because if you do that, that's basically like you're saying. I would have never thought of that dumb idea, making Freddy have nightmares. Like what? That is absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I've never heard anything like that. Like, wow, what a dumb show. But yeah, you can never ever make Laurie Strode Michael Myers. There's no way in the world that you make Laurie Strode Michael Myers like ever. Like I was saying, it's like making Sydney Ghostface like out of nowhere, because obviously they're final girls, and that wouldn't look right. That'd be stupid. That movie is horrible. It's the only one from the movies that I don't like. And I know that a lot of people don't like a lot of the Nightmare movies, but I do. I just don't like 2010. Don't get me wrong. I thought that the person who played Freddy Krueger did a great job. He was scary, but I did not like the people that they were playing. Not the actors playing the movie. They made me wish that Freddy was killing. I don't know. Yeah, I feel you. I always think that Robert Englund is like, not to get too much off topic, but I think that Robert Englund is he's always going to be the best. Freddy Krueger. But wow, I've never heard anything like that before. That's insane to me. Like I'm serious. I've never heard anything like it. Like nothing like that. I mean, I've heard of like I heard like theories about certain stuff like that. Like about like Sydney becoming Ghostface. That's the main one that I heard. Um Other than that, I've never really heard anything like that. And I was thinking like if they made Sydney Ghostface, that's just like making Laurie Strode and Michael Myers out of nowhere, like for no reason. That would be the probably the dumbest idea, the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. You can never make Laurie Michael make no sense. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would make absolutely no damn sense. Sorry for my language again, but I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't. So what do you do? What do you want to see in a new Halloween movie or TV show? Well, obviously for the movie, I want to see a sequel to Halloween 4. Um, that's what I want to see. I want to see a sequel to obviously Halloween 4, and I want to see basically like a follow up from Halloween 4 storyline. Um, for the movie, anyways. And I want to see Danielle Harris come back. So those are the things that I would want. I want to have the sequel to Halloween 4, and also a like a follow up of Halloween 4, anyways. And then obviously having Danielle Harris come back. That would be probably the number one thing that I would want. Because I think if they did a sequel to Halloween 4, that would there's no reason why Danielle Harris can't come back at that point. But yeah, that's definitely what I would want. And no, don't have a lookalike in there. If you're gonna bring the Jamie Lloyd character back, you can't have a lookalike, or you can't have like a different actor like you did in Halloween 6. You gotta have Danielle Harris in the film at that point, in my opinion. But can't have I'm just not a fan of. I'm not a fan of a different actor playing Jamie Lloyd. You could make Sydney a Ghostface if she lost her mind to the point that she lost everything. She could go completely nuts, and I can't ever really imagine it happening. But people will lose their mind all the time when they lose people they love. And Sydney's her, except for her children and their husband and Gail. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that, honestly. I would probably be very happy with them saying or making Sydney Ghostface what they could realistically write a story that made her a Ghostface, but I don't see Kevin Williamson doing that and I don't, or ever, excuse me, that's what you meant. And I don't see Neve Campbell signing on to a script where she was playing Ghost. Yeah, that's the thing. You can't do that. Like, there's just no way in the world that they do that. If they do that, I'm gonna lose my crap. I'm gonna probably walk out of the theater at that point. But just like if they ever made, Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, I would at that point that would never happen. Or if they made like Jamie Lloyd, Michael Myers or something, which I wouldn't really like that either, because I don't know, it just doesn't really look right to me. Because it'd be basically like out of nowhere, like. What they did that they made Jamie Lloyd and Michael Myers and then Halloween 4. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I'm just talking about like full blown like evil. Like, man, if they did something to where she was like a killer or something, I mean, I really wouldn't mind that. But I'm just talking about like making her like have like the Michael Myers mask on and all that, like her being like Michael Myers. Like I wouldn't mind her being like a killer with him, but those are two different like things, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a Daniel Harris. I think is probably like the my dream actor to return, especially as Jamie Lloyd again. Probably like my dream like person that I want to come back the most. Um, Even though yeah, she did come back in Rob Zombie's films, but that wasn't really the same because she wasn't playing Jamie Lloyd, so she was playing another character. And plus, that was a remake, so changing the music there. But yeah, so I mean, I want Jamie Lloyd to come back. I want the Jamie Lloyd character to come back, But you have to get Daniel Harris. That's the number one key. If you end up getting like a look-alike or something or a stunt double, like no, I just can't have that. You gotta have Daniel Harris come back. That's just my honest opinion because it just looks better. Daniel Harris has said that she would love to come back as Jamie again. That she would definitely sign on if they would do what her character was in the movies again. Oh, yeah, I definitely want her back, and that's what I'm saying. If they do a sequel to Halloween 4, this next film, there you go. You could definitely bring her back. It'd be the perfect film to bring her back. But yeah, man, rest in peace to Donald Pleasence, though, the legend. Said that he He would actually be in his 80s right now. He'd actually be in his 90s, I think, if he was still alive, close to 100. But man, that dude, he just made the Halloween film so great. He's always done like a great. I think he's always done a great job, especially playing the Dr. Loomis character. Like, I would like to see Rachel come back as well. I could very well see them doing a time jump where she never died. Oh, that would be awesome if they did that. That would be a good idea. That would be a fantastic idea. I would actually like that. We find out that she didn't actually die, that she actually still that she lived. Yeah, I would like that. I dig it. And you know what's crazy? That Michael Myers is Jamie Lloyd's uncle. So imagine Jamie Lloyd and Michael Myers like killing people like together. I don't know how people would like that because obviously she was kind of like a killer in Halloween 4. So it'd be like a niece and an uncle like working together. That'd be Donald Pleasance was born on October 5th, 1919. So if he was alive, he would be 104. Yup, he would be over 100 right now. He would be like super, super old. Like, wow, 104. Wow, that's over. Yeah, that's way over 100. 100. Like, that's. But I only want Rachel to come back if it was played by Lee Cornell. Yeah, Lee Cornell. Yeah, the original actor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to do that. If they end up bringing, the Rachel character back, they need to have the original actor return. Because I don't want to. Again, I don't want to see a look-alike or anything, or like a stunt double. I hate when people do that, when they add stunt doubles and all that. It just doesn't look the same, to me. It really doesn't. If you think about it, like, Like, you have to have the original actor in the film. That's all that really counts, to me. If you have the original actor in the film, then we're good. But if you have a look-alike, well then, I wouldn't be a fan of that. What's this hope if when the next Halloween comes out, what's this hope that they do a sequel to Halloween 4? And let's just hope that it's going to be really good and not as bad as, Halloween Ends. Because a lot of movies today they're just not the same anymore, Like, they're not as good as they used to be. Because everything nowadays are just, like, rushed, Well, I know for a fact that when Danielle Harris was at Halloween, the Rob Zombie movie, she get all her stunts, so it's very possible that she could do her own stunts in a new Halloween movie. And Ellie Cornell did her own stunts in Halloween 4. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening as well. And people don't really understand like doing stunt work is dangerous. Like these actors really do a lot of stunt work, and they basically like risk their own lives for the audience, which is because it's just dangerous, you just basically you're like risking your own life at that point. Because again, you got to do so much, like sometimes you got to jump out of windows, sometimes you got to just do crazy stuff like that, like especially like jumping out of windows, like that's even like the most dangerous part. But yeah, going back to Kane Hodder, I did my that Friday the 13th stream while I was talking about Kane Hodder and whatnot, and I was talking about that, how he played Jason, how he played Leatherface, but the only horror icon that he's never played is Michael Myers. That's the only one, and that's basically like his dream job. So I would personally love it if he played Michael Myers. Because I think he would be a good Michael Myers, even though a lot of people think that he may be like too big. But honestly, I wouldn't mind it, because it doesn't really matter. Michael Myers is big anyways, I think Michael Myers, like, he's big anyways, so like at that point, that's why it doesn't really matter to me, um, how big he is or how buff he is, how wide. You know, that doesn't really matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is that he's got, that he's big, because Michael Myers is big. I don't care about how wide he is, I don't care about any of that. Like, that's what a lot of people always say. Well, he's just too wide to play Michael Myers. Well, I don't really think he is, personally. I think he's got the right size. Did you see the fake Freddy Krueger TV poster on Twitter? No, I did not. How's it going, Perry? How you doing, man? He ain't as big as Tyler. Oh yeah, I agree with that. But I'm just saying that he's like, talking about like buff wise, like muscle. I'm not talking about how tall he is. Like, I think a lot of people say that he's just too like wide, I guess. Like, yeah, he's tall. I'm thinking he's 6'4", which 6'4" is not. I don't think that's that. I mean, that's not that tall, but it's not that tall. But then again, it is. Like, so it's kind of like it's a decent size. Okay, Kane Hodder is actually 6'2", so yeah, he is, I guess, a little small, but I still think he can play Michael Myers. I mean, he's got the size for it, like in terms of like muscle. And yeah, maybe he's not as tall, like as I was saying, like, because Tyler Maine is absolutely the tallest Michael Myers. I mean, that dude was literally 6'9". I mean, and that's literally like his head was like touching the ceiling, damn near. Like, that's how tall he was. Like, and I think that Michael Myers could beat absolutely anyone. Like, it'd probably beat Jason. I think he could play Michael Myers. Oh yeah, for sure. What's the best Halloween movie besides the first one? Halloween 4. I think Halloween 4 is one of the best. I obviously have it at number 2 on my rankings. So, yep, Halloween 4. Depends on who you ask, but that's my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I just think that maybe he's not the tallest guy, but he's got like muscles. You know what I mean? So I don't really think you got to be the tallest guy. Like, Because I think Halloween H2O, just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that, but I just think Halloween 4 is just more of a like a classic, you know? I respect your opinion though. Can't really argue that, I guess. Yeah, it is a solid film. It's not. I don't think I could call it like a classic though. Well, it is a classic, but I don't think it's as much as a classic as Halloween 4. But not to get off topic, but do you guys watch wrestling at all? Um, because I talked about, and I don't want to get off topic, but I just wanted to ask. Um, just wanted to ask if you guys watch it at all, because I don't no more. I used to, but I quit watching it because I feel like it's just not creative. It's not as creative as it used to be, you know. Um, but I didn't know if you guys like were fans of it before, or just asking. I'm not trying to get off topic or anything, but I watched Clash at the Castle. Oh, okay. Yeah, I personally just don't watch it no more. To be honest, like I just think that it's it's just not as creative as it used to be. You know, like back in my day, it was more like rated R. You know, and nowadays it's just like the same old storyline, the same old matchups. You know, I used to watch it when I was in high school. I haven't in a long time. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I mean, I used to be a fan, and I just quit watching because it's just not as creative. You know, it's the same storylines. Everybody basically you see the same old matchups every week. You know, it's kind of annoying. It could get a little. It could get dry. You know, for sure. Especially when you have the same storylines over and over and over and over, like same matchups. You know, that's just my biggest issue nowadays. It's really not the same as it used to be. Because he based it off of if I was the CEO of the company, I would do more creative, you know, have more creativeness, like have new matchups, new feuds, you know. But no, they don't have any of that. So, I mean, it's the same old thing. So I just don't watch no more. I just quit watching because of that. Because it's the same old, again, the same old storylines that. I mean, they could get really dry after a while if you're not. I mean, that could definitely get really dry. Yeah, pretty much everybody that I used to watch wrestle doesn't wrestle anymore. Yeah, I agree because I grew up in the 2000s. Around that era, back when it was like rated R or whatever. Um, and yeah, it was definitely. I think it was a pretty good era. If I had to be honest, I really do. I think it was a good era. I think back in the, it was obviously rated R. They didn't care about like what. They didn't care about, the wrestlers were able to do whatever they wanted. Um, but now it's just not the same anymore. Honestly, just quit watching because it just has gotten dry. Yep, and I'm one of those people. I don't watch anymore either. They probably are going to go out of business pretty soon. It's a lot of people that don't watch them as much. Yep, that's what I heard too. I heard that they could run out of business because people are not watching their product no more. Like, and I see why. Because they don't want to change anything up. They don't want to do new feuds or do like rivalries. They don't want to like change anything up, and that's the main issue. Now there's this other, which I don't want to get too much off topic. Sorry guys, but there's this other wrestling company called AEW that I think is pretty good. And I think it definitely beats WWE in a lot of ways, like in ratings anyway. Like in ratings, I think it's pretty good. Like a lot of people say it's beating WWE, like it's better, which I think very possible because they're just. I think they're just more creative with their storytelling. Like. But they always come up with something different, and they're not like doing the same old thing every week. So of course that's gonna, make it. Of course that's gonna beat it in ratings, and that's probably why nobody's watching WWE anymore. And that's exactly why I don't watch. It's because it's the same old storylines, the same old matchups, and I would not be surprised if they went out of business. AEW may very well run them out of business because everybody is watching, AEW more than they are WWE nowadays. So, because it's just more creative, I guess. Like. That's when I was watching it, but in the 2000s, yeah, that's when I was watching. I was watching it in like 2002, 2003 ish, even like 2004. Those were like the times, like that's back when they were like rated R, as I was saying. So that's back when they were be able to like they used to cuss and all that. But my favorite wrestler of all time. Sorry, I'm gonna get back on topic here, but my favorite wrestler of all time was probably the Undertaker, either him or maybe Kane. I always liked the Undertaker and Kane. was younger, and also Eddie Guerrero as well, and Chris Benoit. But I think The Undertaker and Kane were like my favorites, especially Kane. You know, the brothers, they called the Brothers of Destruction. That's what their group was called. But yeah, that was definitely my favorite wrestlers. Like growing up, anyways. When I got old, back when it was like rated R, like especially the Undertaker. And the Undertaker has been wrestling since 91, and he's finally like retired. That is surprising. I love the Undertaker as well. Yeah, the Undertaker is a legend. Like he was my like number one favorite. Like along with Kane. But Undertaker is like he started wrestling back in like 91. So I wasn't even like born yet. But it's just that character, you know? It's iconic. Kane was good. I enjoyed watching his fights when I catched them, but my favorite is The Undertaker. Yeah, I would say so as well, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm an Undertaker guy, but then again, I'm kind of more of a I like both of them equally. You know, like I really like Kane a lot. When I was a kid, like my brother and I used to like wrestle each other, and yeah, we used to like act like we were the Undertaker and Kane. Like, so that's how much I actually like the Undertaker and Kane. Like, we used to pretend to like be them whenever. Obviously, that was when we were younger, but that was back when it was. That was back when it was really good, though. As I was saying, like nowadays, it's just not. It's just really not as good as it used to be. Like. Now I need to get some sleep. I'll catch you on the replay in the morning. Alrighty, yeah, I'm about to hop off as well here in a little bit, just because it is really getting late. But alrighty, yeah, have a good night rest, and yeah, be sure to hit the like button. My brother loves Kane. Who's your favorite wrestler? There, he's your favorite wrestler. He even likes him so much that he even went to see him in theaters, man. He was in the movie See No Evil. Yeah, that movie's. I love that movie, See No Evil. Yeah, I like part one and part two. I heard rumors about a long time ago that they were going to put the Undertaker in one of those films, but I guess that was just probably just a rumor that people were just, you know, how people just make up things. Like, but yeah, wrestling's just not as good as it used to be. That's just the sad part. You know, everything nowadays just ain't as good. You know, and I really do believe that WWE's gonna run out of business very soon. Like, and Vince McMahon, the owner, you know, has gotten in trouble for, I guess, a lot of things. You know, heard that he was getting investigated for. And hopefully they reopen up a lot of these wrestlers, like find out, you know, if he actually like did something bad to them. Hopefully they find out, you know, they find a lot of evidence and all that, like, but yeah, he's just an evil guy, you know. But yeah, I heard he's getting like investigated or something, or he was anyways. But yeah, it's just sad, man, to see. That everything today is just not as good as it used to be now, you know, sadly. And that's actually crazy that WWE it may go out of business. Which if that happens, well, that's gonna be crazy. You know, because then everybody at that point is gonna be watching AEW. You know, it's becoming that bad, you know, sadly. But kind of like with movies, you know, my movies just ain't as creative no more as they used to be. But I still go watch them. You know, I still go watch them because the reason why I go watch them still is because I'm, you know, a fan, and I can't resist. Like a Halloween film, even if the next Halloween film is gonna be like trash, I still can't resist because it's a Halloween film, you know, like. But yeah, Halloween, same goes for Scream. Even if the movie may be bad, I still got to go watch it because obviously, when you're a fan of something, it's hard not to go watch it. But yeah, it's just like everything today is just not as good. There's not really as much creativeness as there used to be. But yeah, hopefully they do a sequel to Halloween 4, because if they do that, and if they do something to where like Jamie Lloyd comes back, the Jamie Lloyd character, and possibly Daniel Harris. Well, at that point, you're looking at uh, that's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be a good film. It's definitely going to be probably like one of the best since. It's probably going to be one of the best. Definitely better than Halloween Ends. But again, we'll have to see what happens. We may have to wait 10 years. We may even have to wait maybe even 5 years. It may be less. Maybe 5 years instead of 10. But I gotta turn it off. Just, this music on here. But yeah, I think I'm about to hop off of here, guys. Here in a little, like, because it is kind of getting late, and I kind of want to get down to relaxing. But I definitely had a good time with you guys talking about Halloween, of course. Definitely always a good time to talk about, any horror movie, really. It's just fun, especially, theorizing. But my theory about the next Halloween film is that they're possibly going to bring, Jamie Lloyd back, obviously, and Daniel Harris, especially if they do a sequel to Halloween 4. And maybe they could do something like where they have like a Donald or Dr. Loomis like Easter egg or something too. Don't do like too much, like nothing like too overboard, but do something to where at least you could like mention, like have like some kind of mention of them still. Even though I do think that they should probably stay away from the Dr. Loomis thing, because of Donald Pleasance. He was Dr. Loomis. Nobody's going to be able to play him as good as Donald Pleasance. You know. But honestly, that's just my opinion because there's only one Donald Pleasance, and he's the one. He was the one that invented. He's the one that came up with the idea, or not the idea. He's the one that basically he was the first one. And he was Dr. Loomis. He was and is, I think. Nobody will ever take that away from him. You know what I mean? But there's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to match his intensity, just match anything that he did, Like, that's why I think they should just leave the Donald, or leave the Dr. Loomis thing alone, This thing, it makes more sense to, like, back off, back away from that. Anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit the like button as always, and be sure to comment down below, and be sure to hit the replay button as well. I would definitely, appreciate it a lot if you guys could hit the like button for me, because it'll definitely help out the channel, as I was saying, and definitely it'll help me out. So, and be sure, those of you that didn't get a chance to watch, be sure to hit the replay button, of course. Those of you that weren't able to make it, of course, be sure to watch the replay. And yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, everyone. Good night, and see you guys tomorrow night.